Senator Yates.
Present.
Representative Bowling. Representative Hart.
Here.
Representative Mentor. Senator Meredith.
Here.
Chairman Cook.
Here. Okay, first item on the agenda is consideration of the minutes of the June 14th meeting of the committee. Is there a motion that they be considered as being approved?
Second.
Motion by Representative Hart, second by Senator Douglas. Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Douglas.
Aye.
Senator Southworth. Senator Yates. Representative Bowling. Representative Hart.
Yes.
Representative Mentor. Senator Meredith.
Aye.
Chairman Cook.
Aye. Motion carries. Total number of items on the agenda today, we have 1,177 in the amount of $1,401,770,931.92. All vendors are registered with the Secretary of State's office. Next is the deferred list, which is number 43 from the for the June MOA for 50,000 and under list. If the representatives are here, please identify yourself for the record. Good morning. How are you guys? Thanks for being here with us this morning. Senator Southworth, welcome, and we'll give you a second to get settled there. And we are on number 43 from the deferred list from last month, which is you had questions on.
Yes, thank you. If you all could, I know we talked about holding off because I think we had some questions and we didn't really have answers, so I'll just let you kind of take off from there and see if there's anything else we have.
Sure. So this is just one opportunity to expand the community health worker model that's been so effective in our state. We've been, of course, working with Home Place and Fran Feltner, who has a long history in Kentucky of community health workers and making sure that those community health workers are connecting persons in those communities to services. So Kentucky was in a unique opportunity to get some federal funding to expand that across our state, to make sure that all Kentuckians have access to having a community health worker in their community. So this funding has allowed us to put an RFA out to ask communities to look at their unmet needs within those communities and apply for funding to have a community health worker. So this has allowed us to extend this to Western Kentucky, which was an underserved area based on data, and Northern Kentucky. So this is an opportunity for all Kentuckians to take advantage of this model that's been exemplary for our state.
Peggy, did we ever find out if there were any other schools that are doing this as the only school? And I'm just trying to still get my head around that school nurse program, and one school gets one community health worker for one sliver of a population.
Well, this is a pilot, and this school had identified that this was a need, that they had some students who had expressed some concern that their voices weren't being heard and that they had some issues that they wanted to have a safe space, a safe place to have those conversations. And this community health worker would be that person. So.
Mr. Chairman, I don't really have any particular other
Okay.
questions.
Does anyone else have any questions? If not, I will. Oh, sorry. Need to identify yourself for the record.
Sorry about that. Vivian Lastly Bibbs, Department for Public Health.
Astrid Masterson, Office of Administrative Services.
All right. Thank you. If there are any other questions, Senator Yates.
This is a pilot program, obviously, so there'll be, at some point, there'll be some type of breakdown of how this was beneficial, how many students were served, what the results were, and everything, and we'll come back and then you'll come back to us and look at expansion.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Any other comments, or will anyone make a motion to approve? Motion by Senator Yates. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Senator Meredith. Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Douglas. Senator Southworth.
No.
Senator Yates. Representative Bowling. Representative Hart.
Yes.
Representative Mentor. Senator Meredith.
Aye.
Chairman Cook.
All right. That's 5, right? Contract moves forward. Thank you all for being with us this morning.
Thank
Have a
you.
good rest of the day. You're welcome to stay if you want to.
Oh, we'll be here.
He never says that to us.
Yeah. Next order of business is consideration of the agenda, including the corrections list, the deferred list, personal service contract list, PSC amendment list, memoranda of agreement list, memoranda of agreement amendment list, contracts reviewed without objection. Motion by Representative Bowling. Is there a second? Second by Senator Yates. All those in favor, aye. All opposed, nay. Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Douglas.
Aye.
Senator Southworth.
Aye.
Senator Yates. Representative Bowling.
Yes.
Representative Hart.
Yes.
Representative Mentor.
Yes.
Senator Meredith.
Aye.
Chairman Cook.
Aye. Motion carries. Okay, first items on the pulled list with the Department of Education. There are numbers 59 and 60 on the routine PSC green list and numbers 295, 305, and 348 on the MOA pink list. If the representatives are here, please come forward and identify yourself for the record.
Good morning. My name is Karen Worth. I am the Budget Director at the Department of Education. And online with me this morning, I should have Associate Commissioner Rhonda Sims.
Good morning. This is Rhonda Sims, Associate Commissioner, Office of Assessment and Accountability.
All right, good morning. Thank you all for being with us this fine day. We'll start off with number 59 and 60 on the green list. I have a question on 59. Senator Southworth has questions on number 60. Starting with 59, my question is simply this. I've looked through, we have other contracts. We're spending several $1 million working on the test, and then we're spending $1.4 million for the validity of those tests. Just
Correct.
curious, do we really need to, we're spending a lot of money on these tests. Do we have to have a separate $1.4 million working on the validity of them?
Yes. We do actually have state statute as well as federal statute. State statute KRS 158.6453 subsection 14 requires a third-party check of the state assessment accountability system. So HUMRO has been our third-party vendor for a number of years. This was competitively bid about 4 years ago. This is the last 2-year renewal that is processing through to you today. So we do have state law that requires really a follow behind on some of the validity issues as well as the quality assurance that the scores students receive are accurate, as well as the categories for school performance. And in addition, we have some federal requirements. In order to have approved system to release title funds to the state, you must do some independent alignment studies that are separate from your test vendor and from the Department of Education. And HUMRO fulfills that need with us as well. You will notice this contract is with Virginia is the headquarters, but the work is actually conducted in Kentucky. They have an office in Louisville, Kentucky. So Kentuckians are performing this work.
Perfect. You've answered my questions. I'd like to vote on 59 and 60 at the same time. So Senator Southworth, I'll let you ask your questions on 60.
Okay, thank you. This is, I think we had this one, maybe it was last month or something, that was a little piece, and I have failed to find my notes on how much we paid for maybe a month's worth or whatever, but we discussed a little bit last time, and now we're at $3 million this time, and it seems like to me that we have a lot of talking about the same thing, and we've got piles of contracts around here. All the same keywords are in the contracts. This outfit out of Texas is going to help us get it together in schools. We also have regional co-ops that are supposed to be getting it together in schools. We also have school employees that are supposed to help us get it together in schools. Can you explain why we have so many layers and why we need the Texas layer?
Absolutely. And Associate Commissioner Sims, thank you very much for testifying on HUMRO. We should have Dr. Thomas Woods Tucker on the line as well to talk about the programmatic side of number 60. I can share, Senator Southworth, that the contract that was on the agenda for fiscal year 22, there was nothing paid against that contract, and that total amount is in the 3.4 that you see before you today. So there's not 1.4 plus 3.4. It's a combination of the two. So I just wanted to share that piece of it. Dr. Woods Tucker, can you talk about the levels of the work being done?
Absolutely. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Chair Cook and members, esteemed members of the Government Contract Review Committee. I'm Thomas Woods Tucker, Deputy Commissioner at the Kentucky Department of Education and Chief Equity Officer in the Office of Teaching and Learning. It's once again a pleasure to really talk about and communicate with you all the great work that we are doing here in the Commonwealth of Kentucky. And Senator Southworth, you're right on the money. It is layers. And what these layers mean that we have to get folks involved. We have to have parents involved. We have to have school districts involved. We have to have teachers involved. We have to have students involved. And we have to have the State Department of Ed involved if we, Kentucky, will be the leaders to be the first to make some meaningful changes to these things that have really kept public education and our students from succeeding at the levels we want them to do. It takes an entire village. And so that explains why there are multiple layers. And again, I will say to you, it begins with our teachers and our families as well. This is the same contract that we brought to you all a couple weeks ago. As Mrs. Worth mentioned, we have not expended any of this money. This is the same contract again that you all approved. The time before, and I believe the time before that, I explained to you all in regards to how this playbook would work, that it is a multi-year initiative that's being funded by federal funds. And it is the first in the country, again, where our folks have extolled the difficulties of closing these opportunity gaps. We now can take that off the plate of our 45,000 teachers, plus administrators and support staff here in the Commonwealth, because we're going to give them research-based tools to address 5 of the most pressing needs in closing these opportunity gaps. I hope that Chair Cook and maybe other members of our Government Contract Review Committee received a copy of our news release that talked about we launched this equity playbook in earnest on July 7th, just last week. We have over 70 public school districts across the entire Commonwealth, rural, urban, suburban, you name it, who are taking part. And again, they have volunteered to take part in this initiative to use a coaching model, to use a holistic model to address areas of student achievement, better looking at funding, taking a closer look at funding, disproportionality relative to student discipline and placement in courses, culture and climate, and looking at the great promise of ensuring that we have effective staff. One of you members mentioned how important staff and parents are. So we're also asking our school districts to take a more close look at utilizing effective staff and, of course, high quality instructional resources. I'm sure we're going to talk about that a little later.
I don't have a follow-up question. Thank you for the presentation. I actually was grabbing for my phone because I got a number of emails about the new equity playbook, and I just want to caution, as I'm all for Kentucky being first in the nation for a lot of things, but there's been a lot of history, particularly in the education space, where I've seen us become the guinea pig. And we talked several months ago about this being a couple of years, and then we don't know how to fund it after that. And it seems like we're setting up a permanent structure with temporary funding. That's really a structural imbalance to me. So, Mr. Chairman, I've moved to disapprove this contract.
Hold on that motion. Senator Douglas has comments.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This contract is scheduled to end in 2024. Is that correct?
Yes.
No. Well, Karen, you want to go ahead and answer that?
Yes, the contract is through June 30th of 2024.
What happens after that? I'm sorry, Mr. Chair.
And I can answer that question. We are building, and I want to answer Senator Southworth's question, and she has this very legitimate concern, and maybe I'm not doing a good job of answering that concern regarding continuity. We are building up continuity right now. We are working from the very onset to ensure that we are measuring the effectiveness of this equity playbook. It's all part of the launch. And we're working closely with our partners at our 8 educational co-ops to help us to continue funding this initiative and to ensure that once these funds are exhausted, that they are able to keep these programs and keep, more importantly, staff in place to ensure that each one of our 647,000 students is afforded a level playing field to be successful. So to, again, address Senator Southworth's very important question about continuity, we're building that in right now with our ed co-ops and with our partners. We also have a community engagement staff member who is working with various community organizations to help support us. One organization that helps support this work is the Chief Council of School Officers. And so we're working with CCSS, state school officers, we're working with CCSSO with additional funding, additional grant funding to keep these initiatives in place. And I would hope, and I think hope is a good word, that when school districts and schools see how important this work is, that we are encouraging, that we are committed to all of our students, regardless of their ethnic background, regardless of their socioeconomic status or language spoken at home. We see these positive results, that we think this is worthwhile investing. And we ask our people, let's prioritize what's more important, our student success or some other things. So again, in very short order to answer Senator Southworth's question.
I hate to interrupt you, but we
Sure.
really do have a lot of business this morning. And if I can,
Yes, sir.
Mr.
You're
Chair.
fine, sir.
My question wasn't answered, so I'll ask a couple more. Is the purpose of this to even the playing field or even the outcome?
By leveling the playing field, we will have greater outcomes. We'll have level outcomes. There's no ifs and buts about it. Again, I said this is research based.
Okay,
and if it were
with
not
all due
research-
respect, I have to respectfully disagree with you. Mr. Chair,
You're
if I'm
fine.
out of order, please let me know.
You're fine.
Evening the playing field doesn't even the outcomes because the input is not the same. So what I'd like to do is, when I came to the Senate, one of the things I said I wanted to do was change the narrative so that we are fair and using a fair baseline. Just because we provide an even playing field doesn't make outcomes equal. And you can look at sports and see that. The football field is an even playing field, and the coaches bring in players, but there are different those players have different amounts of abilities. And so I think sometimes we shoot ourselves in the foot trying to make sure we have equal outcomes when we're shooting at something we're simply not going to attain. And that's what kind of concerns me about this particular contract. What I want to know is to whom, you talked about collecting the data, to whom is that data reported? That's my last question,
You're fine.
Mr. Chair.
Before I answer that question, I'll briefly say you respectfully, you misunderstood. I said by leveling the playing field, we can begin to see more level outcomes. I didn't say guaranteed outcomes, level outcomes. But to answer your question here very quickly, relative to the data are data strictly for those particular school districts. It's not going to be shared with some big data collection company or some big data outlet. The data are for those school districts, in particular those teachers. And what has set Kentucky apart is the fact that we have one student information system, as I said months ago. It's called Infinite Campus. Infinite Campus can allow us to make changes immediately. And that's the problem with a lot of assessments. They're in the rears. In Kentucky, we can change disproportionality. We can change our instructional approaches immediately in Kentucky because we have real-time data based upon students in classrooms.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Any other comments? Senator Yates.
We know in the Senate that we have definitely achievement gaps, but one thing we address a lot is crime and incarceration. We know one way to address crime and incarceration is early education and working to make sure that we do have opportunities. So I know we do a lot of talk about what the state we're in, the problems we have, and then we have something presented before us. Sometimes it's attacked. I am concerned for any kind of argument to say that this would somehow produce level outcomes, because I don't think there's anything that we can do in this Senate body or there that will do that. But to make sure that there's opportunities given, that we have less children fall between the cracks when we have federal money to help us do that, I think is a positive. And for that, I'll be for this.
Okay, if there are no further questions or comments, I believe we have a motion on the table from Senator Southworth, and we're going to separate these contracts now. So this is a motion to disapprove on number 60. Is there a motion fails due to lack of second? Is there a motion to approve contract number 60? Motion by Senator Yates. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Representative Mentor. Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Douglas.
If I may, Mr. Chair, are we voting on 60 or 59?
This is,
or both?
to be clear for everyone, we are voting simply on number 60. This is a motion to approve number 60.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Explain my vote.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to vote aye, but I'm going to vote aye with reservations. I think often we talk about leveling the playing field or doing the best we can to level a playing field, and then we play with the words of trying to make everybody even. Senator Yates mentioned the word opportunity, and we often don't use that word opportunity. Opportunity starts at home. Opportunity shouldn't start just in school. And I know you talked about bringing in parents, and all of that sounds wonderful when we're sitting here and listening to this, but in the real world, are we really doing that? And I'm going to be watching this very, very closely if I'm still on this committee when it comes back around. I just want you to know that. We need to make sure that we are utilizing the Commonwealth's taxpayers, this is not my money, taxpayers' money in the most efficient way. And I'm going to make sure that I start watching that. So thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Senator
I vote
Douglas.
aye.
Clerk.
Senator Southworth.
No.
Senator Yates. Representative Bowling.
I too have some reservations. I think it's very important. I think it's one of those things, like most things, the devil's in the details of how this rollout goes. And this is a new thing, and we just don't know right now. So I am going to vote yes today, but I do have reservations. Thank you.
Representative Mentor.
Yes.
Representative Hart.
Let me see. I'd like to explain my vote. My vote's no, and I was a little confused. I thought we were on 59, or I probably would have seconded the motion to disapprove, but my vote is no. So.
Senator Meredith.
I'll explain my vote, Mr.
Yes, sir.
Chair. I was prepared to vote no on this, but out of respect and admiration for my esteemed colleague, Senator Douglas, I'm voting yes. You know, of everyone that's sitting here in this room today, probably he, more than anyone, has been there, done that. And I look to him on numerous occasions to lead me, guide me, and direct me in these issues. I'll be quite candid. My concern is when the day is done that this won't have any return on investment whatsoever. I had a college professor that always described it as we're measuring the number of wing flaps per pound of birdseed. And I think this is another exercise in that. We're not addressing the core issues, which even Senator Yates gave some acknowledgement to, and we keep kind of chasing our tail. But again, I'll vote yes on this, but I share the same reservations as my colleagues. Thank you.
Chairman Cook?
I'll follow Senator Douglas' lead. I'll vote aye. Motion carries. Okay, now we have this is contract 59. Just so everyone's clear, I was going to try to run those two together, but we had a motion to disapprove, so we separate them. This will be looking for a motion to approve
Motion
contract
to
number
approve.
59. Motion by Representative Bowling, or second by Representative Hart. Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Douglas?
Aye.
Senator Southworth?
Aye.
Senator Yates? Representative Bowling?
Yes.
Representative Hart?
Yes.
Representative Mentor?
Yes.
Senator Meredith?
Aye.
Chairman Cook?
Aye. Motion carries. Okay, we are now moving. We're going to go from the green sheet to the pink sheet. We got numbers 295, 305, and 348. Do you need anybody else to come forward to testify, or you're covering this as well?
I'll be here for the next three. Dr. Woods Tucker will speak on this one as well on the programmatic side.
All right, welcome. Senator Southworth has questions.
Thank you. I actually might not have a whole lot of programmatic questions on 295 particularly because I was late getting the contract and my understanding was that the pricing was different than what it is. So that I think is pretty much the same thing. I've already talked about all the different layers and this is just more of that renewing. But I'd like to go to 305.
Senator Southworth, before you do you want us to go ahead and vote on 295 if we're not going to come back to it? Or that way we don't run the confusion. We
Yeah,
just did
however, yeah, that's
Let's
fine.
do it. Is there a motion to approve contract number 295?
Second.
We have motion by Senator Meredith, second by Representative Mentor. Clerk, please call the roll. This is pink sheet number 295. Motion to approve.
Senator Douglas?
Aye.
Senator Southworth?
No.
Senator Yates? Representative Bowling?
Aye.
Representative Hart?
Yes.
Representative Mentor?
Yes.
Senator Meredith?
Aye.
Chairman Cook?
Aye. Motion carries. 295 moves forward. Senator Southworth, 305.
Okay, 305, this Deeper Learning Initiative says that most of the schools in this, or most of the districts in the state have voluntarily indicated interest or whatever. And what I'm trying to figure out is this always concerns me when we have these voluntary sign-ins. Usually whenever there's federal funds involved and it's a voluntary thing, that means we can't mandate it, and we can't mandate it for some legal reason. And so usually that means this is over the edge, and I'm giving you broad strokes here, but in Kentucky's Constitution, we also require that funding be even to different districts. And these things always freak me out because we've got federal grants that can't force things on us, so they have to put carrots on sticks. And we have a constitution that I feel like it's trampled on half the time because we're pushing grant money around when it's not official funding, therefore it doesn't have to be even. Can you give me any kind of consolation, or is this something that I need to be, that's pretty much what it is?
And by the way, Mr. Chair, I'm David Cook. I'm the Director of Innovation, the Division of Innovation at the Department of Education, and this grant falls in my...
Thank you, sir. Welcome to the committee.
Hi. Senator Southworth, thank you for the question. First of all, at the end of the day, all 171 districts are participating, so all the districts are involved. So not just like 165 of them, but all of them. And the way the funds are being allocated, and as you know, this contract that was pulled was one of 7. So each co-op has a contract with amounts of money. Each district is receiving their portion of those funds basically based on ADA. So they're getting in essence, everybody's getting what they're supposed to get. So if I have a district of 5,000 students, I'm getting what I'm supposed to get. If I have 800 students, I'm getting my portion of this larger amount of money. So in that regard, I think we are being equitable with the funding to the districts, because they're not having to jump through a hoop to get it. They're getting it because of the number of students that they have.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions on number 305? If not, we'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Motion by Representative Mentor. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Representative Bowling. Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Douglas?
Aye.
Senator Southworth?
Aye.
Senator Yates? Representative Bowling?
Yes.
Representative Hart?
Yes.
Representative Mentor?
Yes.
Senator Meredith?
Aye.
Chairman Cook?
Aye, motion carries. Number 348 on the routine MOA pink list. Senator Southworth.
Yes, thank you. I just wanted to quickly check in because there were a number of different ones that I've seen. I can't keep up with where we're at on the various life cycles of the academic standards and other contracts we see. Okay, we're currently working on the fill in the blank social studies standards, and these 5 people have contracts and they're working on that, and we have this contract with the outfit in, I forget, Alexandria or somewhere, New York. Somebody's overseeing the project management of this, something to that effect. Here we have a local board of education is doing funding to work on getting exactly what, because this is not something that everybody's got a contract for. I'm just a little confused on, again, layers. One of the things I often say is we have instructional designers that have instructional designers that have instructional designers. What is this?
So, excuse me, Senator Southworth, this is what we refer to as a personnel MOA, and a lot of times the Department of Education will need a specialized service that school district personnel can provide to us. And this is a contract with Shelby County, and this contract will hire this person at the Department of Education to bring their expertise in this area to the department. They will still be an employee of Shelby County, but they will be doing work specialized for us at the department.
Okay, so they happen to work at Shelby County, but they're going to be doing statewide effort on the model curriculum framework.
Yes, good morning. Mickey Ray, Chief Academic Officer in the Office of Teaching and Learning. There are 2 statutory requirements connected to this position, particularly within 158.6453(2G. There is a statutory requirement that the Kentucky Department of Education provide professional learning supports for the implementation of standards. This particular consultant has expertise in reading and writing and social studies, but he has also worked with math and science as an instructional coach in Shelby County. So he will be charged with professional learning supports around the delivery of those 2 standards documents. We also have 158.6451, which is the model curriculum framework, and we have done much work in improving the quality of that model curriculum framework over the last 2 years. And in fact, yesterday there was an update that improves usability, and this particular consultant also will be working on that to help support district level staff in understanding the model curriculum framework that would then be communicated to administrators and so on and so forth throughout a school building.
Okay, thank you. I don't have any other questions.
Any further questions on number 348? If not, we'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve.
Motion by Representative Bowling, second by Senator Douglas. Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Douglas? Aye. Senator Southworth?
Aye.
Senator Yates? Representative Bowling?
Yes.
Representative Hart?
Yes.
Representative Mentor?
Yes.
Senator Meredith?
Aye.
Chairman Cook?
Aye. Motion is approved. Okay, thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Out of the hot seat.
Thank you.
Okay, next item on the polled list with the Department of Insurance, the numbers are 109 and 111. We are back on the green list. 109 and 111 from the green list. So if the representatives are here, please come forward and identify yourselves for the record.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee. I'm Sharon Clark. I'm the Commissioner at the Department of Insurance.
Good morning, welcome. Thank you for being with us. Pretty simple question, and it's from me.
Yes, sir.
You have 109 and 111. We have the same contract, same dates, separate contracts. I was just going to get an explanation on, and it's with the same company out of Texas there, just an explanation of why we needed two separate contracts on that.
Yes, sir. All health insurance companies, whether they provide our traditional health insurance or what we call our non-mandated benefits, and those would be like limited lines, vision, dental, Medicare sup. So we have broken these into two contracts. One is for just our traditional health plans. The other is to review long-term care, medical sup, the riders to life insurance, limited vision and dental, and various other little products.
Got it. Perfect. Thank you. Any other questions on 109, 111? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Representative Hart, second by Representative Mentor. Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Douglas. Senator Southworth.
Aye.
Senator Yates. Representative Bowling.
Yes.
Representative Hart.
Yes.
Representative Mentor.
Yes.
Senator Meredith. Chairman Cook.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you for being
Thank
here
you,
today.
Mr. Chair, members.
Okay, next item on the polled list with Northern Kentucky University, numbers 280 through 285 on the routine PSC green list. If the representatives are here, please come forward and identify yourself for the record.
Carmen Hickerson, AVP Government Relations and Economic Engagement for Northern Kentucky University, and my colleague should be on Zoom.
Good morning, everyone. Elizabeth Meiser, Interim Vice President for Legal Affairs and General Counsel.
Hey, good morning. Thank you all for being here with us. Following a little bit of Senator Meredith's lead on this, I learned a lot when he did it with the University of Kentucky. It just seems like a few months ago. We pulled their legal contracts and they actually reported back to us on how much of the money they're actually using on those contracts. And so that's my question, because this is my first round going through the every other year process. So on all these legal contracts, and I understand you're just putting out there because it's a legal matter and, you know, don't have time to do the RFP process for every little one, but would very much like some feedback on how much of these individual contracts, you know, for instance, on the first one is a $75,000 contract. How much of that is actually used over the 2 years?
Liz, can you address that question?
Yes, I have our payments pulled up. So it looks like for the first one, for the Stites harvesting contract, 43,000 were used over the 2 year period. Do you want me just to kind of move forward?
Well, I tell you what would be easier. Maybe if you just could you email the committee and we could get those and just kind of look at them. I would like to look through all of those and just see what's going on out there, and that would cover all five of those
yes,
contracts that are pulled.
we can email
rather
that
than trying to go
information.
through them and nobody here. I wouldn't be able to remember them if we went through them all now anyway. So that would be a great review for me. I'd very much appreciate that. Does anyone else have any questions on 280 through 285? Motion to approve by Representative Hart. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Representative Bowling. Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Douglas. Senator Southworth.
Aye.
Senator Yates.
Aye.
Representative Bowling.
Yes.
Representative Hart.
Yes.
Representative Mentor.
Yes.
Senator Meredith. Chairman Cook.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you all for being here and look forward to getting that report. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Let's see. We're off of this, aren't we? Next item on the polled list is with the Office of the Controller, and it's numbers 301 through 304 on the routine green list, and number 82 on the PSC Amendment Ivory list. If the representatives are here, please come forward, identify yourself for the record.
Good morning. My name is Brian Thomas. I'm General Counsel of the Finance Administration Cabinet.
Good morning. Thank you for being here with us this morning. So if you were just listening, we're going to cover 301 through 304. These are the legal contracts. I have the same question that I just had for Northern Kentucky University. You don't have to go through them, but if you could get back to us and we could see how much of each of those, I think you have 4 different contracts of $200,000. I would just be very curious of a report, how that was used on the last cycle. That's all I need on 301 through 304. So if there are any other questions or comments on those, if not, I'll entertain a motion. Motion to approve. Motion by Representative Hart. Is there a
Second.
second? Second by Representative Mentor. Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Douglas.
Aye.
Senator Southworth.
Aye.
Senator Yates. Representative Bowling.
Yes.
Representative Hart.
Yes.
Representative Mentor.
Yes.
Senator Meredith. Chairman Cook.
Aye, and sir, I look very much forward to seeing that report. If you could get that email to the committee, that would be very helpful. You're not off the hook yet because we have another contract with number 82. We're going to the Ivory list. So I'll give everybody a second to change over to the Ivory list. That's number 82.
And again, my name is Brian Thomas. I'm General Counsel of the Finance and Administration Cabinet. Also, I believe we have Deputy Commissioner Daly. I'll let her introduce herself.
Yes, Deputy Commissioner Hillary Daly, Kentucky Department of Corrections.
Welcome back, and I will turn it over to Senator Southworth for questions on number 82.
Mr. Chairman, I was confused about this contract, and staff had emailed me, I think, late last night that there may be issues. I think we're on the wrong thing, and I don't know. I don't have a copy of the correct thing.
Hold on just a second. We have staff working on that.
If the committee doesn't object, I'll try to address at least our view of the confusion.
Go for it.
So we became aware of that the committee's pulled list had information that appears to intermingle two contracts with similar numbers, two separate agencies. So looks like that the Wayne County Board of Education and the Department of Corrections both have a contract with the numbers 2205. Now, one of those is upon 2, the other is upon 3. The Wayne County Board of Education contract is now expired. And so the information that was pulled for that contract, in our view, is just incorrect. We're not sure why the committee received this information. Again, from our side, the PON 3 was, went through the EMARS process and was filed with the committee as they normally are. We're happy to work with committee staff to try to, cure this going forward.
Yeah. Oh. Let me. One second here, formulating a plan of action. Well,
I would make a motion to defer because that's exactly, I'm really confused about the
Yeah,
content of this contract because the numbers, I was gonna ask about the cost and the scope of services and come to find out it's actually not even that contract, it's something totally else and I didn't really know what it was. And I don't know that I have questions on the second part of the dental or diamond drugs or whatever we're doing, cause it said we're doing a Board of Education position. So, I would move to defer so the agency can get us the correct information on what the contract is and we can get all that cleared up.
I have to have two motions. Okay. Okay, so our issue here for everyone is we have two contracts with the same number, one's upon, and so deferring the contract that's in front of us, the Wayne County Board of Education, deferring it is not the right action because there is no action to take on that.
Withdraw.
The correct action is to withdraw, exactly, Senator Southworth. We need to make and before we do that, we need to make a motion to withdraw that contract, and then the second motion will be to put in the correct contract, which would be PON 2, and then the 540220005 to put the PON 3 to put that contract in. And then we can take that contract and defer it to next month so that the committee can have time to look at it and review it rather than just do it right now today.
If all that was your motion, then I'll second.
And Chairman, may I interject?
Yes, sir.
So just for clarity, the current Department of Corrections contract related to Diamond Drugs is a PON 3. PON 3758-2205.
Yes. And we're going, and what we're getting ready to vote on, we're going to make a motion where that'll be placed in, and then we're going to defer it to next month. So you'll be back here with that PON 3 next month on the deferred list. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Douglas.
Aye.
Senator Southworth.
Aye.
Senator Yates. Representative Bowling.
Yes.
Representative Hart.
Yes.
Representative Mentor.
Yes.
Senator Meredith. Chairman Cook.
Aye. Okay, motion carries. Sir, we will see that PON 3. That will be on our deferred list, and we will see you back next month with the correct contract in here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. That was entertaining. All right, let's go. Next item on the polled list is with the Board of Elections. Is it after? I don't know if the Board of Elections, are they available yet, or we need to go? If not available yet, we need to. So we're gonna have to come back to the Board of Elections. We're gonna go to Department for Community-Based Services, and that's number 64, 76, 77, and 89 on the routine MOA pink list. If the representatives are here, please identify yourself for the record.
I think we'll have different representatives for different contracts. But my name is Jason Dunn. I'm the director of the Division of Family Support within the Department for Community-Based Services.
Good morning. My name is Lisa Dennis, and I am the Deputy Commissioner for the Department for Community-Based Services. And we do have one more member who ran to the restroom. She'll be back in a second. Sorry.
Okay, no problem. She can identify herself when she gets here. Senator Southworth has questions, and Senator Southworth, you pulled these, and so as you ask your question, if you want to do them individually, we will. If we can group them, that would be better. But I'll just let you direct the chair how you want to do that.
Okay.
Oh, hold on. Let's let one more introduction happen.
Thank you.
I couldn't wait.
You're fine.
I'm Melanie Taylor. I am an assistant director in the Division of Protection and Permanency with DCBS.
Welcome. Thank you, Senator Southworth.
Thank you. I normally can keep up a little better, but I'm trying to see the numbers here. We've got $228,000, and I see the note on there used to be private funding, and now it looks like we're doing something here. Can you explain? I'm pretty well confused on what is going on.
Sure. Our original engagement with this particular entity began in 2019. It predated my return back to the department. But it was an engagement with a cohort of several states. There was private funding available at the time. It was in conjunction with the Department of Health and Human Services. Also, they were also a partner in this. But that engagement ended last year. So we wanted to continue the work. We were making good progress, and we wanted to continue that work with this partner because we were making good progress, but we had several steps to go. We were kind of interrupted by the by the pandemic and our activities we could do with them.
So source of funds, is this like a temporary 2 more years thing and with ARPA funds and then we're going to be done, or?
These are TANF funds, temporary assistance for needy families, and it's to focus on the families served by that program and help develop a more outcomes-based, a more appropriate outcomes-based way of looking at the program and how we define success for the families we're serving. So it is a limited engagement to help us redesign and then move forward with the new redesign.
Okay, and obviously we currently get funds in for the TANF program. Is this coming out of the current funds we normally already get, and so we're
Yes.
pinching somewhere else? Or I'm trying to figure out how we have money right now all of a sudden in the TANF program that we didn't have when we had private funding before.
Also pandemic related, we did not spend as much as we normally would have because we weren't able to engage with families the way we normally would. So we did have some additional funds remaining that we could use for this year.
Okay, thank you. I think I'm comfortable moving on to number 76 for questions, if we want to do that one.
We're on the
This
pink
one
sheet.
is
We had to skip the third bound.
a staff person.
These four.
It sounds like to me a staff person, and they're doing a number of different things: equity, social justice, different stuff. Is this a $172,000? Is this one staff person?
Yes, it's for one staff person.
Can you explain how they relate to your other normal staff? Are normal staff getting paid $172,000 in DCBS?
It's a two-year contract, so
Okay.
that's the total for over the 2-year period. We are contracting, the department is with U of L for a senior advisor on public health. And Dr. Trinidad Jackson has been identified to serve in that role. Dr. Jackson has a doctorate in public health services, and the work of the contract will be focused on the social determinants of health and assisting the department in identifying and addressing structural and systemic changes that are needed to better serve families and individuals, with a specific emphasis on poverty and looking at, again, rural versus urban areas and how we engage and how we serve individuals.
Thank you. I'd like the cabinet to focus on engaging and serving individuals, but what the description here says is that we're worried about making a diverse and inclusive cabinet, which is to me more focused on internal with employees than it is external to the people we're supposed to be serving.
The department is intentionally focusing on equity and how to in addressing race and our outcomes. I mean, our data shows that there are disproportionate and disparate outcomes based upon race. So part of that is working with our staff to be able to identify that, utilize our data differently, and acknowledge where we need to look at policies, make changes, and so again, that is part of the overall scope of this contract and work.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, those two are kind of same topic-ish, and the next one, I don't know where it's going.
All
so
right,
I'd
very
like to
good. We'll
pause.
stop. Senator Yates has a question, and then we'll entertain a motion on those two.
Thank you. Piqued my interest a little bit on this. So it's about $86,000 a year for this individual. And then the position, it says to co-lead. So I guess, is there another individual? Is that a separate contract, or is that someone that's already?
It's co-lead with department staff.
It's already on salary?
Yes.
And so I assume this is a full-time job?
The contracted time for Dr. Jackson, I believe, is about 50%, if it's 50%.
So he's got another job with the department?
No, he works with the University of Louisville.
Okay, so about half this time?
Yes.
And will that be done weekly, monthly, and the just assessment is overall time?
He is engaging with us on a weekly basis.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions or comments? And this is we're separating these out, and this will be number 64 and 76 on the pink list. Any other questions or comments? If not, I will entertain a motion on those two.
Make a motion.
Motion by Senator Yates.
Second.
Second by Representative Mentor. Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Douglas?
No.
Senator Southworth?
No.
Senator Yates?
Aye.
Representative Bowling?
Would have voted yes on 64 and no on 76, but the motion is combined. I'm voting no on the motion.
Representative Hart?
No.
Representative Mentor?
Yes.
Senator Meredith?
No.
Chairman Cook?
No. What's that? Okay, the motion to approve has failed. Is there another motion to disapprove the contract? And I guess my question being, since the comment was made during the voting, do you want to separate those? The motion could to separate the contracts and individually vote on those contracts.
I'll make a motion to separate the contracts.
But it wouldn't be, you don't need to separate it. It's just a
make a
question
motion.
would be, you could make a motion to approve one and motion to disapprove.
Okay.
We got a motion to approve number 64 from Senator Meredith, and there's a second by Representative Bowling. Clerk, please call the roll, just so the committee understands this is a motion to approve number 64 on the pink list.
Senator Douglas?
No.
Senator Southworth?
No.
Senator Yates?
Aye.
Representative Bowling?
Yes.
Representative Hart?
Yes.
Representative Mentor?
Yes.
Senator Meredith?
No.
Chairman Cook?
Yes. 5-3, clerk, motion, number 64 moves forward. Is there a motion on number 76 from the pink list?
Motion to disapprove.
There is a motion to
Second.
disapprove number 76 from the pink list. Is there a second?
Second.
Is that you, Senator Southworth? Second by Senator Southworth. Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Douglas?
Aye.
Senator Southworth?
Aye.
Senator Yates?
Nay.
Representative Bowling?
Yes.
Representative Hart?
Yes.
Representative Mentor?
No.
Senator Meredith?
Aye.
Chairman Cook?
Aye. What's the count, clerk? Number 76 is disapproved. Okay. We are now moving to number 77 on the routine pink list. Senator Southworth, you may continue.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. On this structured decision-making system, it looks like to me it is, I guess this is a trademark in our little type here. The way that we make decisions, obviously this might be really interesting, but I'm just trying to get to the bottom of the money that we're spending. It looks like part of it's federal funds, part of it's general funds, and perhaps we're doing training on this, looks like, but where are we at on this? Is this like a one-time deal, or is this a all-the-time thing? Because it seems like to me we need to get a handle on our decision-making for these difficult situations, and I've been quite concerned. This is my number one research this summer on what is going on over there, because I get weird things coming from constituents. Like, I've got a constituent wants to meet with me who has recurring issues, grandson at gunpoint, can't get somebody to call him back. And then we've got people that don't know why they showed up in the first place. So what are we doing here?
So this will be our third contract for the structured decision making. We are working on implementing, if I count 6, 7, 8 tools total, that will be structured decision making tools in both child protective services and adult protective services. And the tools are based on research, that it is a national model that has been implemented in many other jurisdictions. And it is, and it will assist, the tools will assist workers in making more consistent and accurate decisions throughout different points and times in their casework.
So is this a recurring every 2 years thing that we will do infinity, or is this like a training module that we need to get it together and then eventually we can just have that be in the regular training? Or I'm not clear on the system.
Yes, so this contract is for 2 more years, and at the end of the 2-year period, with the scope of work in the contract, we should have all of the tools implemented at that point. And that will include the training for the tools, automation of the tools in that 2-year period.
Okay, thank you for that part. Let's go to number 89.
Let's go ahead and vote. Let's go ahead and do what we're going to do on that one.
Okay,
We've
thank
had too much, too many trying to group them. It's not working today. Yes. Let's, is there a motion to approve or disapprove number 77?
Make a motion to approve.
A motion approved by Senator Yates. Is there a second? Second by Representative Bowling. Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Douglas, Senator Southworth,
Explain my vote, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm going to vote aye. I would really like to see this type of work, the description that I'm hearing, but that's the problem. I always say the meetings in Frankfurt. We hear great things in the meetings, and in real life, it's never that way. If what we're hearing in the meetings is going on, that's great, but I have concerns outside the scope of contracts, particularly in the legality of making legal decisions based on an algorithmic tool. So that's another issue, but I will vote aye right now.
Senator Yates,
Aye.
Representative Bowling,
Yes.
Representative Hart,
Yes.
Representative Mentor,
Yes.
Senator Meredith,
Aye.
Chairman Cook.
Aye. Motion's approved. Okay, now we'll move to number 89 on the pink list.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is kind of the same question. Is this something that's an ongoing thing, or is this a one-time deal? Or what are we doing with this 500 cases that we're evaluating?
Well, so this contract is to implement a differential response or an alternative response approach in child welfare and in our casework. It is a part of our overall expansion of our prevention efforts. And the contract will be used for us to build that model and approach, as well as build training and build a structure for staffing. So our plan is to develop teams throughout the state that will handle alternative response cases versus teams that will handle traditional response cases. And the goal is, it is a 2-year contract. And the scope of work in the contract would be to have those pieces built at the end of the 2-year period.
So this is a new thing we're starting right now, and in 2 years we'll be done and we'll know where we're at.
We hope so, yes.
Okay.
Follow up, Senator Southworth. If not, Senator Douglas has a question.
Oh, okay. That's all I have.
Senator Douglas.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I think I'm a little confused. This is a new contract to look at other areas. Is that because the other areas are working so darn well, we're moving forward to look at new areas, or is that because other things aren't working?
Well, so alternative response is also a national, or it's a national, but many other jurisdictions use it. And it is really to change our approach on how we approach our casework. And instead of always coming from, especially in lower risk type cases in child welfare, instead of coming from a traditional approach where we are very investigative and we are making a finding and it's punitive, we will have cases that fall into that alternative or differential response approach where we take a more proactive, providing services, and a more supportive approach.
One more question.
Yes, sir. Follow up, Senator Douglas.
Okay. With that being the case, and this being a 2-year contract, am I then to assume, which is probably a bad thing, that in 2 years we'll either drop this program, this particular contract, or we'll drop a different contract? Because we seem to keep piling them on, and they're very, very confusing. Sure. And it seems like we always add things, but we're not taking anything away. And what I want today is I want to get on the record, is that where we're headed?
So developing an alternative response is a part of our federal plan in response to some reviews and things. So, and it is a part of that. I have no reason to believe that we won't have our model built in the 2-year period.
Again, my question was, does that mean the other contracts that we look at to do something similar, we either go with this and get rid of the other, or are we just going to keep piling on? That's my question.
So I'm not sure that I understand that completely, but I mean, I believe that this contract will be completed in that 2-year period. And the structured decision-making tools, if you're referring to that contract, those are two separate things, and we will have both of those working in conjunction with each other in the 2-year period. So we will be building those models and approaches and those tools that are in these two different contracts at the same time during this 2-year period.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Senator Yates.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I know that several members of our legislative body have been cast as volunteers, and I've heard on the floor many times about the need for abuse and neglect, how Kentucky is continually ranking the top 5 worst in the nation year after year after year. And so my hope is that we continue a multifaceted approach to address this very, very need. But this is a best practices right before us. This is federal money that comes through. I think it's 100% federal money to address what has been identified as a best practices approach. Because in the event that we continue the approach that we have right now, that a lot of people who otherwise may need help with children are sometimes scared to pick up the phone because of the deep investigative process and sometimes the removal. So we're going to have both in place. We'll have to have it where we have a way that you can have through this program, but also some of the other things that we already have in place where we deal with other lines of abuse and neglect. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions on number 89? Senator Meredith.
Not a question, just a comment, kind of follow up on Senator Douglas's questions and concerns. Is a buzzword we've heard over the last couple of years. Listen to the experts and demonstrated best practices. I'm sure what we've been doing for the last couple of years was based on demonstrated best practices. And I imagine 2-3 years from now, we'll have new demonstrated best practices. And we'll hear from new experts that we need to be doing this or that. And it looks like we need to be doing a better job of concurrent review of these programs rather than wait for them to crash and then do something different. So I share the frustration. Not going to pretend to know these folks' business. And I know as legislators we're criticized for that on numerous occasions, that we shouldn't be making decisions about things we don't know anything about. But I can't fly an airplane either, but I know when one's crashing. And I think we're all concerned about where all this is going. So that's all.
Any other questions, comments, number 89? If not, entertain a motion. Motion by Senator Yates. Is there a second? Second by Senator Southworth. She beat you to the punch. Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Douglas.
I vote aye, but opportunity to explain my vote.
Yes, sir.
You know, I used to call myself the new guy, but now that I've been here just a little bit more than 6 months, I promised the people of my district and the people of Kentucky that I would diligently review the things that are put before me. And one of the things I know during the time I went through my medical school training was that I have to build on everything that I learn. I don't forget something just because I go on to a new phase. We need to start looking at some of our contracts the same way. We've got to stop paying for the same thing over and over and over while we're building on, because we're supposed to remember things from the past and move that to the new. And so I hope that we will start doing that, and I hope that all the people who come before us will start doing that instead of needing more and more and more money to build on, that they would retain the information that they had gained in the past, so that we don't keep escalating what we're asking our taxpayers to pay for. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Clerk.
Senator Southworth.
Explain my vote, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm also going to vote yes, and with the same thing as before. If I was building this program, I wouldn't be nearly as hesitated, because I know exactly what I'm thinking in my head, and what's on paper is the same thing. But where I see this issue is what's on paper sounds really cool. We definitely need to get a different approach, because over 90% of the cases that get investigated are nothing, and that's a problem for costs. Taxpayers are paying. Social workers are stretched so thin, they're stressed out and burnt out, and they're investigating 90% of nothing. And then, like I said, we've got cases that aren't being investigated. So we definitely need to get a balance. This is, I think it's a promising thing on paper. I really would like this to be more of a focus than it is, but I don't think, as Senator Douglas said, we need to always be worried about rushing out to the latest, greatest, best practice, folks. We've got people that are on the ground with a lot of common sense that can put pieces together and figure out what's not working. So I'd like to see a little bit more of that in the future and not so many $1 million contracts. But I will vote yes for this and hopefully get better outcome on this one. Thank you.
Senator Yates, Representative Bowling.
Yes.
Representative Hart,
Yes.
Representative Mentor,
Yes.
Senator Meredith.
I'll explain my vote.
Yes, sir.
I'm voting aye. Pretty much the same rationale as Senator Douglas, but I'd add another comment to that. I think we've got a kind of a disturbing trend I've seen over the last 4 or 5 years that because it's 100% federal funding, that's something we should jump all over. And I think we need to really back up on that and take a hard look as to whether these programs are truly in the best interest of Kentucky and address the problems specific to our state. And many times I don't think that they are, but because it's free money, we go ahead and embrace these things. So just a word of caution. Thank you.
Chairman Cook.
I vote aye. I'd like to echo the words of Senator Yates with the multi-pronged attack and trying to solve this problem. So vote aye on this. Motion is approved. Motion carries. Okay, thank you all for being with us this morning. And we're going to go back now. I see our good friends from the Board of Elections are here with us. So I'm going to ask them to come forward. We're going to look at number 25 and number 26 on the routine MOA pink list. 25, 26 on the pink list. Welcome to the table. If you please each identify yourself for the record.
Thank you for your patience.
No
with
problem. Nobody
us
ever
this
asked to go.
morning.
Nobody ever asked to go towards the end in this. Everybody tries to get to the front. So we're thrilled, happy to oblige.
Thank you. Karen Sellers, Executive Director, State Board of Elections.
Richard House, Assistant.
Pull your microphone a little closer.
Sorry. Richard House, Assistant Director of the State Board of Elections.
And Taylor Brown, General Counsel.
Welcome. Senator Southworth, let you lead off.
Thank you. These contracts bother me because they're just MOUs with blanket language that doesn't tell me anything what's going on, so I have to call you and say what's going on. Can you explain, well, for both of them, you probably have them both in front of you. We got $62,500 for Barron County and $75,000 for Graves. What the money is for?
It's for voting equipment, replacement of voting equipment. This was, again, I believe we have said before, it's HAVA Security Fund dollars that the State Board of Elections designated back in November or December to begin the process of helping counties to get voter verified audit paper trail equipment. And the counties have gone through a process, and the end process is the MOA, which determines what their eligibility is and what their request is. They are paid $2,500 per precinct, and in the case of Barron, they have 25 precincts, which is where the 62.5 is their eligibility and what their request is based on the MOA. Graves has 30 precincts at $2,500 per precinct, and their request is $75,000, and that's what they're eligible for. Now I can, if you'd like, with Barron County, they bought, I can read the list of equipment that is part of their MOA
that would
if
be
you would
helpful.
like. Verity Scan Bundle, they bought 20. Verity Ballot Box Base, 20. Verity Duo Standalone, 6. Verity Print Bundle, 1. Tabulation Computer, 1. Report Printer, 1. Verity Drives, 36. Verity Keys, 4. The total expenditure that their county made was $172,012. And that's where we received the documentation that they had purchased that. We received the serial numbers once the equipment came in. We have the minutes from the fiscal court meeting where they approved the purchase. It went through their fiscal court, and their eligibility is the 62.5 at 25 precincts at
Can you?
2,500.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to get to, was the 172, and then
Okay.
of that's the 62. Can you also, what's the 75? Is that you said their request was
Graves,
actually
yes.
75.
Well, I'm sorry, that's Graves. The request in Barron was 62.5.
Yes, but in Graves, I think I heard, I don't know, did you say
Yes.
their request was 75 and they are getting 75?
Yes.
Can you say what, is there, it sounds like Barron County's doing a whole county setup. Is Graves County, they're just picking off a few things? Are they setting
No,
up?
I'd be happy to read
Sure.
their equipment purchased. They purchased 18 Verity Scan Bundle, 18 Verity Ballot Box Base, Verity Duo Standalone 7, Verity Print Bundle 1, Tabulation Computer 1, Report Printer 1, Verity Drives 37, Verity Keys 4, and their invoice total was $150,043.70.
Okay, I maybe
And-
misheard. Thank you. That pretty much answers my questions.
Okay.
Approved 25 and 26.
Senator Douglas?
Aye.
Senator Southworth?
Suspend my vote, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Chairman, there are a number of court cases going on right now about problems with these consolidated poll locations. And I don't think it's a good use of taxpayer dollars to continue buying systems that are being used for consolidated poll locations while we've got a number of people in major questions trying to sort out what happened with all this technology. I think we need to get that straight before we continue spending money on systems that create those kind of questions at elections.
Right.
I'm sorry?
I'm sorry, I didn't have my microphone.
Did I place my no vote first?
Oh.
I apologize.
Senator Southworth is logged in as a no vote.
Thank you.
Senator Yates?
Aye.
Representative Bowling?
Yes, and can I explain my vote?
Yes, sir.
This is how the local elected officials in Barron County and Graves County have best decided that they are comfortable with tackling elections. And I have no doubt they did their due diligence, and this is this course of action they decided to take. And so I'm a yes. Thank you.
Representative Hart?
Yes.
Representative Mentor?
Yes.
Senator Meredith? Chairman Cook?
Yes, motion carries. Thank you all for being here with us this morning. Appreciate it. Okay.
Thank you.
We're on to the final items. Polled list with Department for Public Health. Numbers 134, 173, 175, 181, 187, 204, 207 on the routine MOA pink list. If the representatives are here, please come forward and identify yourself for the record. Check your mic, see if it's on there.
Sue Thomas Cox, Kentucky Department for Public Health.
Janet Luttrell, Kentucky Department for Public
All
Health.
right, welcome. And if I know there's a few more people, so different contract, just make sure you say your name and position when you come forward. Let's see, we have 134. I think we'll do that one as a standalone. So let's start with 134 on the pink list, Senator Southworth.
Thank you. I'm a little mixed up because it says we're doing a protocol for provider training in trauma-informed care, and then it starts talking about pain prevention and oncology issues. In at least the way that I know this term, trauma-informed care, it's not talking about like cancer pain. It's talking about psychological whatever stuff. So can you explain to me, what is this training for the staff, or is this oncology patient issues?
It is components of all of that. Their project is called the Trauma-Informed Pre-Procedural Pain Intervention, and it's based on trauma-informed care. in that we realize that there's an evidence-based body of knowledge that says things that happen to us can cause trauma, emotional and physical, and have, worse outcomes from trauma. And so what they're seeking to do is to prevent some of that trauma that actually occurs when a child and a family comes to the hospital and has interventions that are painful and treatment. So it is based on trauma-informed care, and then the training that they will get in order to prevent that from occurring as much as possible. We all know there's going to be trauma with a child that's diagnosed with cancer.
Okay, thank you for that clarification. Move to approve.
Senator Douglas,
Aye.
Senator Southworth,
Aye.
Senator Yates, Representative Bowling,
Yes.
Representative Hart,
Yes.
Representative Mentor,
Yes.
Senator Meredith, Chairman Cook.
Aye. 134 carries. We're now on 173.
Thank you.
New round, 173. St. Joseph Catholic Orphan Society. Welcome back.
Hello again. Vivian Lastly Bibbs, Department for Public Health.
Thank you, Senator Southworth.
Thank you. I'm trying to figure out, because we've got here 80 children, foster care, 120, all these staff, volunteers, and donors. It says health-related education. Is this like a... This is weekly, so I'm just trying to figure out exactly what's going on here.
So, excuse me, the St. Joseph Catholic Orphan Society and that entity provides services to over 1,500 families in that catchment area. And one of their biggest activities is providing this annual picnic within Jefferson County. And it's 60,000 folks that attend that event. And they're using these funds to expand that and offer health and wellness activities and opportunities to educate children, parents, families, staff on topics that these families have questions, concerns about. And also at the same time, keeping current staff up to date on the latest information that's coming out related to specific health and wellness issues.
It says here they're going to be conducting 2 vaccine clinics in the community, so it doesn't sound like that's at this event. It's somewhere else.
They plan on doing something, one of those vaccine events at the picnic, at that large event, and the other one is planned in the future.
Okay,
so one is in preparation for like back to school in August, I think is when they've planned that, to talk about immunizations for school readiness and anything else that those parents have concerns about, is preparing those folks for school.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Senator Yates first, and come back to you, Senator Douglas.
Well, first of all, in Louisville, this is a big event. And a lot of people, we volunteered in different parts of it, a lot of friends that volunteer. One of the positive is really what we miss a lot is having the resources, but connecting people to those resources. And so that is, I think, one of the things that maybe we've missed today is that while we're serving all these individuals through the St. Joe's, also when you have the picnic and you have these things available, there's other people who show up that otherwise don't know about the resources that are available. You make sure it's there, and you have that connection. And so I think it's just a huge positive. And I always talk about multiplier approaches. Like if we can put back $100,000 forward, but we can get back $300,000 or $400,000 in monies that were saved for otherwise resources, I think that's a positive. And when we're addressing, especially children who otherwise may have certain things that have kept them from receiving certain benefits or services that we know they need, and failure to do so requires to not only mental health consequences but physical health consequences. I think St. Joe's does an awesome job. So I just really want people up to say that, and obviously this is a really positive thing that it's in our community, not only for the children there, the families they serve, but the community as a whole. So thank you for being here on this.
Senator Douglas.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have 2 questions, may I?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
The floor is yours.
I know these are federal funds. Is the money for the picnic or what's the money for?
So their budget is for a number of things: for staffing, for the picnic itself, for any of the educational materials. They've got some PSAs and social media and marketing campaigns that they're doing around that event. So their budget is inclusive of all of those things.
Thank you. I have a second question. Now, we have TV, we have radio, we have flyers. Are we educating the parents or the children?
I think both. I think there's an opportunity for both. I think we learn from I think parents learn from their children. As a parent, I've learned from mine. So I think there's a two-way communication there. I think it's benefit to the children that are going to be there, and it's benefit to the parents. And like Senator Yates said, it's a benefit for the community because they're learning what resources are available, and then they're learning also about the needs of this particular demographic that they may not have even known about and wanting to help. So I think it's reciprocal, to answer your question, Senator Douglas.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
All right. Any questions or comments? If not, I'll entertain a motion on 173. Motion by Senator Yates. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Chairman Meredith. Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Douglas,
Aye, but explain my vote.
Yes, sir.
I just want to express a little bit of concern because we're looking at a particular group that we're giving money to, and yes, I know it's federal money. I get all that, but we have our public education system, and it seems to me we sometimes are trying to separate our systems as if one group of information gets to this group, but the information doesn't get to this group, so we've got to give more money to this group because either they're not paying attention or they can't read, or I'm trying to look at what we can do to bring our society together and not continue to separate our society into little divisions. But I vote aye. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Senator Southworth,
Pass.
Senator Yates,
Explain my I vote.
Yes, sir.
Just want to make sure that we understand that the money is for the orphans and for foster children and for the family, the resources they provide for. Yes.
Representative Bowling,
Yes.
Representative Hart,
Yes.
Representative Mentor,
Yes.
Senator Meredith.
Explain my vote.
Yes, sir.
Aye, and it's really not related to the vote. Just want to express my disappointment. I know you testified earlier, and I thought you were hanging around because you were just so enthralled with the work of this committee. Now I'm disappointed. No, we always appreciate your attendance at these committees and the testimony you gave. You do a great job, so thank you.
Thank you.
Chairman Cook,
Aye. Motion carries.
Thank you.
We'll see if she really leaves this time or sticks around for another one. She got another one? She loves this committee. She's going to get the Government Contract Review MVP award today. Let's go to 175. Welcome, sir. Please identify yourself.
Thank you. My name is Bob James from the Division of Epidemiology.
Welcome, Senator Southworth.
Thank you. My question is, I'm on page 7 of the contract. It says that we're going to be encouraging healthcare provider vaccine adverse event reporting system reporting and monitoring VAERS and vaccine safety data. One of the things that I've heard from a number of constituents I just had one in my office last week, massive vaccine reaction, no reporting. And I'm wondering, this is again my problem with the meetings in Frankfurt. The paperwork sounds great, but is it really happening out in the real world? We're going to have these programs where we're trying to increase numbers of people being involved in something that is dangerous and life-threatening to some people. How are we handling that? Is that really getting done? Or do we need to keep doing the same contract, or do we need to step it up a little bit and watch out for these people that are being affected like this?
So you're speaking directly about one particular position on this big contract, the health educator position, and the health educator position is responsible for outreach to healthcare providers to make sure that we're reporting information into the VAERS system. And so we obviously need to get that information so we can make good decisions based upon what happens with the vaccines.
Is this position a all the time thing, though? I think this has kind of been an ongoing program for a number of years. I'm assuming this is a recurring position.
The health educator position is a recurring position.
So is there anything they're going to be able to do to help improve the situation between the last many contracts and this contract? Is kind of where I'm trying to get to is, if this is the same exact wording as the last contract, is there anything we can do to help get a better outcome for the same position?
So actually, this particular position is continuing to try to do the outreach and to gain information in the community with the providers. There is a different person in this position this particular time, and so we're expecting some obviously different results from this position this time with a different person in the position.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions, comments on 175? If not, we'll entertain a motion. Motion by
Second.
Senator Yates, second by, was that you, Representative Minner?
It was.
You were quick on the button that time. Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Douglas,
I'll say aye.
Senator Southworth,
No.
Senator Yates, Representative Bowling,
Yes.
Representative Hart,
Yes.
Representative Mentor,
Yes.
Senator Meredith, Chairman Cook.
Yes, motion carries. Thank you. Okay, let's go to 181. Who we got on the hot seat for 181? Welcome. Come to the table. Please identify yourself.
First of all, I'd like to say thank you for this wonderful opportunity to see the government at work. I love this. I appreciate you
Motion to
guys.
approve.
I appreciate you guys. I just wanted to say that before I
Motion
went
for
on
a psych
record.
evaluation.
Before you guys tear my contract apart. But
You got to commend her though. That's the best anybody's done sucking up.
We've all never had anybody happy to be here. It's just Bart Harden's happy. He likes to come see us. But
I'm ecstatic.
welcome. If you just name and position, please identify yourself for the record.
Hi, Gina Bryan with the Kentucky Department for Public Health.
Shelley Wood with the Department for Public Health.
Well, welcome to both of you. All right, let's go with 181. Senator Southworth.
Thank you. It says here I'm assuming this is kind of an all the time recurring situation. If I'm wrong, then correct me. But it says we're going to do family planning services in accordance with Title 10 requirements and the national standards for family planning. My concern, probably everyone already knows what I'm going to ask. It seems like to me we just had a major shift potentially in the legal situation. I don't know what Title 10 all has in it. Nobody even knows what Kentucky has in their own law right now. Is this contract something that can really be moving forward, or do we need to defer and figure out what's going on before we move forward on implementing we're not sure what?
I feel like it's been around for 50 years, Title 10 has, and I feel like it can go forward, but you go ahead with your questions and I'll address any concerns you have.
Well, I have no idea what's all in Title 10, so I'm just wondering if, there's a lot of different versions of family planning, and some of it includes things that are, not somebody's constitutional right to do, and at this point, we're wondering if what's illegal and what's legal. So I'm just trying to get to the bottom of, is this contract well-written, ready to move forward under current law, as anyone understands it, or does this thing need to get put back a little bit and restructured where we're walking around any of those landmines?
Well, you're probably not walking around any of the landmines. You can feel very comfortable. Like I said, Title 10, if you're talking about abortion is actually prohibited for a method of family planning. You cannot even promote that or talk about that in a way that promotes it as a method of birth control. So that has always been in our law. It has always been in Title 10 law. It's federal, and that is one thing that will never probably change.
Okay, my follow-up, I guess, and apologize for my lack of science and legal understanding in this. I know a lot of things, but I don't know all the names of all these pills and different stuff. I know we passed a law about pills, and I'm not sure where the pills fall in, which pills are in this Title 10 or not, and that's where it's muddled to me. I just want to make sure we are avoiding the issues, because I think that our House Bill 3 is in court now too in Kentucky, and so federal may be federal, but Kentucky's got its own issues right now with what's the law and what's not the law. So I just want to make sure this is clear, not just from the federal, but also the state, and who's looked at this to review this in the last 2 weeks to be sure.
Yeah, that's I think you're referring to the abortion-inducing pill. And so that's different than what we deal with in Title X. Title X family planning, we do promote the use of emergency contraceptives, but that is not abortion. So if you've had unprotected sex within the last 5 days, you would be able to take an emergency contraceptive, and that actually prevents pregnancy, and it does not abort pregnancy, and it causes no pregnancy termination whatsoever. Matter of fact, if I was pregnant and I took emergency contraceptive, my baby would not be affected and it would be healthy. There's no side effects to that if someone took that pill and they were pregnant. So this is not the abortion pill. That is not within Title X. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions or comments on 181? If not, we'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve.
Motion by Senator Yates. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Representative Mentor. Got it. Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Douglas,
Aye.
Senator Southworth,
Pass.
Senator Yates, Representative Bowling,
Yes.
Representative Hart,
Yes.
Representative Mentor,
Yes.
Senator Meredith, Chairman Cook.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you very much. We will now move on to number 187.
Mr. Chairman, probably my mistake. This is the same thing, so I think we probably should have put them together.
Well,
I didn't
we've
pay
already
attention.
passed it
Yeah.
now, so
I'll
we're on
move.
187. Is there a motion to approve then?
Yeah, we can move to approve that one.
All right.
Second.
Very good. We have a motion by Senator Southworth, second by Senator Yates. Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Douglas,
Aye.
Senator Southworth,
Pass.
Senator Yates, Representative Bowling,
Yes.
Representative Hart,
Yes.
Representative Mentor,
Yes.
Senator Meredith, Chairman Cook.
Aye. Motion carries. We are now on 204. Thank you all very
Thank you,
much.
guys.
Hope you enjoyed your morning with us. Come back next month. It's August
Have an
9th.
awesome day.
Tune in anytime. 204, sir.
Yes,
Welcome
again,
back.
I'm-
Identify yourself again. We'll get rolling.
Bob James, Division of Epidemiology.
All right, Senator Southworth.
Thank you. So I know we passed back in the special session in 2021 publicity money. This says we're doing $1 million. Is this the same publicity money that we're still pulling out of that same old pot, or is this different money?
This is different money. This is from CDC to promote their Vaccine with Confidence campaign.
Oh, is there a certain pot of money that we're gonna get, or is this all of it here?
There is a large amount of money that we have. This is money that we're spending out of that CDC Immunization Cooperative Grant.
Okay, and my final question, I think, is, it says here we're going to deliver these educational messages in a non-judgmental, non-political, and objective way. Is the CDC putting out information that was not, or that was judgmental, political, and non-objective, and this is going to be different information, or are we kind of recycling the same information?
It is the reiteration of the CDC Vaccine with Confidence information.
Is that different than other media publicity, different things we've already done in the past?
To answer your question, these video clips and these segments that we will be doing will be produced with local people, local healthcare providers, local folks in the community to communicate this information so that when you're watching a video clip, you're seeing a local physician or a local person that you have confidence in that is providing the information in our local communities.
Okay, thank you.
Senator Douglas has a question.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I do just have one question. Will this campaign also talk about the side effects of the vaccine?
This campaign will address the confidence of the campaign and the vaccination as promoted by the CDC with disclosures for other issues that might be side effects.
So is that a no?
It is not a primary focus of the campaign, but it would be, just like your labeling on certain things. It would be included in the campaign. So it's included but not primary.
So we're going to change what we're doing now, because that is not being done now.
This campaign has not been developed yet, so this is different from what we're doing now. Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Any other questions on 204? If not, I'll entertain a motion. Motion by Senator Yates, second by Representative Mentor. Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Douglas,
Pass.
Senator Southworth,
Explain my vote, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, ma'am.
This is another good example of how the meetings in Frankfurt or the paper are concerned that it doesn't always reflect the reality. So I'm going to vote no on this.
Senator Yates, Representative Bowling,
I'm going to pass on this one.
Representative Hart,
No.
Representative Mentor,
Yes.
Senator Meredith,
I'll explain my vote. In a very non-judgmental, non-political, objective way, writing on the back of a unicorn, I vote aye.
Chairman Cook,
Aye. What's our count? Motion.
Chairman Cook,
Aye.
Aye.
Move forward. Moves forward. Contract moves forward.
Thank you.
Number 207 on the routine pink list. Stay till the bitter end. Welcome back. Introduce yourself again. And
Sure.
we'll get started.
Vivian Lashley-Bibbs, Department for Public Health.
All right, Senator Southworth.
Thank you. I have to say, this is not the weirdest thing I've seen in this contract set, but it definitely gets up there somewhere. And I want to find out who is getting these bingo cards and where are the games being played, or what in the world is going on here, because I mean, there's sometimes you can make things more interesting than they are, but this is really getting out there.
So I'm glad you asked, Senator Southworth. This is a evidence-based, nationally, a national program that's being done in 20 counties in Kentucky and 40 states across the country. This has been developed as a way, it was originally developed as a fall prevention program for our elderly to enhance cognitive function, social connectedness, because it has a component where there's usually youth that interact with the 65 plus population as they're going through bingo size. The bingo cards are being developed. The bingo cards were developed by Dr. Crandall at Western Kentucky University. And it incorporates an exercise component, a nutrition component. There's 6 sessions, 2 weeks, 2 sessions per week, for a total of 6 weeks or 12 sessions. And it's been very beneficial for this demographic. They're partnering now with Dale. They're partnering with the Human Institute, the Human Intellectual Development Institute at UK, which is a great partnership. They're partnering with the Department for Public Health. This is a true collaborative effort to address some of the needs of this 65 plus population. So.
Okay, you were talking about exercise and health, but the wording I see here seems to have mostly, it says reinforcing hand washing, vaccinations, vaccine and immunization educational curriculum, workshop on hygiene, vaccine and boosters, and additional vaccine and immunization information. It looks like to me this is mostly vaccines, and I didn't see a whole lot of the nutrition in there.
So they're going to be adding that component to expanding what they're currently doing and incorporate some of those immunizations that 65 plus population would normally be interested in or need to have. And they're also going to be including some additional online components using the universal design that they haven't before, which, if you all know what universal design is to making sure that there's more white space, that it's easy to read, that it's easy to navigate, and that those people who have certain disabilities would be able to access bingo size without having to be physically present to do so. So that's going to be an extension, Senator Southworth, of what they're currently doing.
So it's an online platform for people over 65 that can't see.
There's going to be an online platform for those that may have a disability, not necessarily limited with vision.
Okay.
So
I'm still just, we sit here and try to figure out how to spend our taxpayer dollars is definitely not the way I would have thought. $371,000 on bingo cards about a variety of things to help old people, and I'm all for getting creative and helping old people, but I'm just really still trying to struggle with, of all the needs out there, how do bingo cards got up to the top of the list? But that's really neither here nor there, besides the fact that this is just really an interesting situation.
I think the bingo concept was the way to incorporate and engage that audience and to make it fun. So I appreciate your comment, though.
Well, I understand that the Department for Public Health needs to, focus on a variety of different ages and populations. I just can't come up with how the government got involved in making bingo cards. Seems like to me that the nursing homes would have had those bingo cards made up by their activities staff. It sounds like that kind of an idea to me, which I'm not saying it's a bad idea.
Well, the bingo cards are not necessarily what you would. They are the traditional bingo cards, but there's also that educational component piece to it. So there's a question, and then there's the actual. If you answer that question, we'll do the bingo on the card. So it's an educational, to me, tool that they're using. But
okay, thank you.
Senator Yates first.
Yeah. First of all, I like trying to produce creative approaches to take what would not necessarily be a lot of money and make sure it works. We know that taking our elderly population and having them where they're housed, incorporated, is very, very expensive. So I think part of this program, in my understanding, is actually to be able to be active outside and be able to collaborate as well. So I think back at my grandfather, a lot of you saw that was 92 that came in the session. He did have in-care help, but part of that sometimes was the interaction outside of it. So just the encouragement to stand up, to sit down, to do these things. So the longer that we can keep our constituents that are maybe aging at home and active, healthier, well, that ultimately, especially when you look at some of these state-paid things, it saves us money. I always applaud whenever we can look at ways that can be a positive for our constituents, save our tax dollars, and otherwise make our population healthy. And so it looks like this collaborative approach is going to be passed on and hopefully expanded. And I think that members of the legislative body, we could do a little bit of bingo size, do well with it as well. So I appreciate you.
Senator Douglas. He's good. All right. Senator Meredith.
I always learn new things when I attend these committee meetings, and I struggle with when folks talk about elderly, exactly what population that is, and you threw out 65, so I assume anybody over 65 is elderly, and I'm 69, so I guess I just resent the assumption that we all like bingo. I think it's a little bit demeaning. Not really. It is an innovative approach, and I wish you all the success in the world. I think you've got to approach it from 1,000 different ways, and I guess what bothers me with all these contracts is we have no way really of measuring the effectiveness of how we're spending these dollars. And I just wish there was some way, in your previous testimony, again, I thought that was great. Everybody knows about that picnic and what a super job it does, but really wish maybe someone could give us a report a year later saying, because we spent $200,000, here's what we were able to do. But, we never see that, so it takes a leap of faith. And, at face value, I think you can understand why $371,000 for bingo cards, just at face value, appears that it's not a good investment. But with your testimony, I understand what you're trying to accomplish, and I'll support this, even though it does bother me that you assume that I like bingo, okay? But thank you.
I think we all agree this has been a way better meeting if we'd have had the bingo cards here to actually see them and work on it. Bingo. Do we have any further comments or motion on this contract? Any motion? I'll entertain a motion. Motion by Senator Meredith, second by Representative Bowling. Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Douglas.
I passed, but I'd like to explain my vote.
Yes, sir.
This was a good presentation. I have to go along with Senator Meredith. I'm always concerned when we don't have any follow-up for the programs that people continually want us to approve, or new things that they want us to approve, but they don't tell us why the old one's not working. And so, again, I'm here to help the taxpayers. the people who are actually funding this. And we seem to keep going back to the taxpayer saying we want more money from you to do something new, but I can't tell you what's not working, and I don't have the data to tell you why it's not working, and that's a concern. And that's what we hear from our constituents all the time. So my vote is still a pass, but I want you to know that's a really big concern that I have in these situations. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Clerk?
Senator Southworth?
Explain my vote.
Yes, ma'am.
I wasn't going to explain my vote, but Senator Douglas has inspired me, and I am going all over the place on what is the right answer for something like this. And so, I start with, I'm going to vote pass as well. I start with the Constitution. Where are bingo cards in the Constitution? Where is making sure our old people have exercise videos on the Constitution? I mean, let's think about the role of state government versus the role of our wonderful, hardworking nursing home activities administrators or anything else in the whole space. And so I start there, and then I go to, well, it's doing some good for some people and we need to reach the corners. But do we need to reach the corners with the taxpayer dollars because it's a cool idea or because it's a requirement of the state government's resources and, our duties to the public? And so those are those philosophical issues I just get stuck on. And so I'll go ahead and pass as well.
Senator Yates?
Explain my I vote.
Cars, trucks, internet.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chair. We know that ultimately long-term care, sometimes people have disability insurance, sometimes people have things, but a lot of that will fall back on to the taxpayers. Ultimately, we take care of those that can't take care of themselves. So if we have a program in place that keeps you at home longer, keeps you active, keeps you healthier, it actually saves money. And so sometimes we say, look at it like a business approach. If we can invest $371,000 to possibly have that multiplier savings, then that's a good expense of tax dollars. So I'm an aye.
Representative Bowling?
I feel like I should explain my vote, but I'm just going to give a simple yes. Thank you.
Representative Hart?
Yes.
Representative Minter?
Brief explanation of my vote.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
and you keep up the good work.
Senator Meredith?
Aye.
Chairman Cook?
I can't believe nobody else took this opportunity. Bingo. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you all for being here. Next meeting, August 9th, 2022 at 9 a.m. Motion to adjourn. Second. Passed. We're adjourned. Can't believe nobody else took bingo on that. Yeah. We're going to have her come back and